Affirmations of a real happy Sunday. Welcome to Kaya's Corner, where we are telling our stories. We are talking about all the things, catching up on the week's events, making sure that we are intentional and in alignment with not only what the Creator has for us, but in alignment with what our destiny has for us. And so, child, how was your week? It was Juneteenth on Thursday, was it not? Huh? Yes, Day of Liberation, day that enslaved Africans finally found out they had been free, which is honestly a completely insane concept to me. Case in point, did y'all know Lil Uzi Vert bought a planet? And then my first question was, who sold it? Because there is this thing where people believe and assume that they have the right and entitlement to things that God made. Things that existed way before they came along, like land. And they say, this is mine. And not only is it mine, but you have to pay me for it. As a matter of fact, I'll kill you if you stay here. I'll have, ICE come and remove you. But see, today is about the spiritual toolkit, right? Because although Thursday was Juneteenth, yesterday, some people bombed some places. You might be feeling some anxiety, right? Because this is what we mean when life happens on life's terms. We don't have no control. We have absolutely no control over what anyone chooses to do. I mean, even in the smallest increment, when you think about the tap water that comes through the faucet in your house, you are assuming that there are no chemicals, things, and then until 10 years later, there's a lawsuit. And it's like, you might be entitled to compensation for. So the truth of the matter is, have peace, right? Because worry won't help. Worry and stress, it won't help. Not only will it not help, it'll make you sick. It'll put you in some systems that will require you to be dependent upon the government for things. Like your worry, your stress, your anxiety, your fear also propel you into bondage physically, not just mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, but in the places where we drink to compensate for stressful emotions, you could find yourself in some systems that's going to make that thing a little bit worse. And there's a spiritual implication to that, and I'll get that another day. But today we're just simply talking about our spiritual toolkit. So let me tell y'all a story. What a time to be a child. Yesterday, my little sister came over. Shout out to Blair Renee Crosby. I love you, girl. My little sister came over and we just had some quality time. My sister and I have been going through growing pains in our relationship as we have become women and we recognize the powerhouses that we both are, and learn things like boundaries and how to be healthy in sisterhood and how to make time and space for one's own stuff. And, sibling stuff can be real. Everybody like, oh, my sister. No, that's your sister, your brother. That's wonderful opportunity to practice your own emotional maturity, your own spirituality, your own conviction around your belief system, because it's our family, the people that are closest to us. Those are the places and spaces where you see the truest and rawest, most authentic version of yourself. And if those relationships aren't healthy, right, not only do they impact your worldview and the way you interact with the world, but they also impact your spiritual process. Because the truth of the matter is, blood is real. It's real. No matter what challenges I may have in relationship with my sister or particular people, every time I spend quality time with them, even if it's been a long time, we like this. It feels so good. It feels so good. The logistics and the details of who did what and who said what and how things went somehow seems to melt away. They seem to melt away because that's how much more powerful our ancestry is, our connectedness is. Even I was watching a video that I recorded and I hear her voice and I think it's mine. It's that strong, right? And so why am I saying it? Because your family is a part of your spiritual toolkit. Well, how? The rituals that you all used to do when you grew up, right? And depending upon your childhood, you may or may not have these experiences. So I want to be clear in saying I'm not trying to make the assumption that everyone's childhood involved, fairies and roses and date. That's not the case. That's not mine. That's not mine. But there are pieces, there are moments that if we're intentional about reflecting upon, about thinking about looking back on, that can fuel us and sustain us when somebody in chief decides to bomb another country. Whatever your views are on the thing, right? That can be a stressor. Some of us might be a little bit concerned because now what? How do I stay healthy? How do I stay well? How do I ensure that, I am locked in? How do I ensure that I'm not getting dragged left and right, that I'm not in the corner crying in the fetal position, that I'm not making decisions out of fear, that I'm not the one going to the grocery store buying up all the water? Huh? Yeah. Anyway, so yesterday my sister came over and we got to watch Sister Act. And this is deep on so many levels. If anybody has seen Sister Act, right? This movie created a platform for so many well-known Black actors, actresses, singers. It is chock full of who's who, especially in Black culture, before you knew who they were. You go back to like, oh my God, I didn't even know you was in this. Not even to mention a little Jennifer Love Hewitt in Sister Act 2. And yes, we watched both of them, right? And why is this important? That was something that I realized was a part of my spiritual toolkit. Whenever I'm feeling lonely, down, depressed, overwhelmed, I can pop that movie on and it can take me back to a place in time where I feel extremely connected to God. Kaya, why is that? Oh, I'll tell you. When I was 7 years old, I had a sleepover at my house, and my sister brought this up yesterday. Okay, so that's how I know it wasn't imaginary. It was a very real thing. I had a sleepover at my house with a few of my friends, and I caught the Holy Spirit, specifically off the moment when Lauryn Hill was singing Joyful, Joyful. See, now I don't want to sing for you guys. I do sing in the choir, but let's just keep things organized, okay? When I tell you Lauryn Hill hit a riff in Joyful, Joyful, and it took everyone up an octave, and I caught the Holy Spirit at 7 years old. Let's be very clear. I was not a church kid. Okay, yes, my parents did go to church, right? But they weren't in a position in church that made them leadership. I wasn't there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday like most people, right? The most I had was choir practice. I might have had to sit outside for the men's meeting. And this is as we even get later in life. Not by 7, right? By 7, my parents are divorcing. By 7, I'm spending 1 week at my mom's, 1 week at my dad's. By 7 years old, we are not at church that consistently. I did go to a Catholic school, but let's be clear, it was Catholic and very, don't even look right, but very, okay. It was very Catholic, like, very. So the Holy Ghost wasn't a part of the Mass. I didn't see that. And the fact that I didn't see that is important because where did that come from? Where did this overwhelming situation, this overwhelming emotion, how did I get caught up? And I'm talking about caught up, okay? I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop saying, thank you, God. My body was on fire. The girls went and told on me. They were concerned. They were confused. Why is Blake crying? Why is Blake screaming? Why is Blake wailing? What is going on? Huh? God. And so it just fortifies me. It just blesses me because like here I am 35 years old doing this work. And it's like, yeah, baby, I chose you. You're supposed to do that. Remember when you were 7 years old and I convicted you while you were watching Sister Act 2 and Lauryn Hill, favorite artist, took you to another level where you had never been before, where you were literally consumed by the Spirit. And I want, let me tell y'all something. I am not a holier than thou person. I am not so super religious in any type of religion. I sing in the choir and I also practice African spirituality. I create my own reality, truly create my own reality. And a part of that is Sister Act 2, right in my spiritual toolkit. It is something that no matter what goes on, it can feed me spiritually, not only because it's connected to a memory that I have had that has reminded me of the divine and that God is real, but it also just lifts my spirits because I love music. I love the experience of watching with my sister because me and my sister both love it. And being able to watch it with my sister yesterday, and I'm coming off of a high of a week. I had a wonderful week. Juneteenth, shout out to Cause of Effect, Metro 5K. We did a thing, okay? City of Atlanta proclamation, we did a thing. Okay, so I'm not necessarily down in the dumps. No, I feel great right now, okay? I feel great. Ideas are percolating. Things are moving, shifting. I'm seeing visions of where things can go in certain places. I'm moving, I'm shaking. But at the same time, yesterday I had a chance to pause, spend quality time with someone that I love, a soulmate of mine. I am Blake. She is Blair. Huh? That is my sister. And there is something that she provides for me that no one else does. Oh, I don't want to cry. I'm a Cancer, y'all. I might cry. There's something that my little sister provides. My little sister taught me boundaries. My little sister taught me that just because I think a thing don't mean it's true. My little sister taught me that you should follow your passions at all costs. My sister is a wonderful food analyst, historian, drink maker, business connector, artist, photographer, videographer. She is a wealth of creativity, And she found it not robbery very early on in our relationship to assert boundaries with me that blessed me. And so now when I spend time with her, right? Because it was like, oh, Blake, you're the one that's loose with it. Like, you're the one that'll just say yes anytime somebody asks you something. You're the one that'll just You're the one that'll just self-sacrifice. And that big sister, little sister thing, it can get on you. You start thinking some things and, child, that ain't true. You were born first, and quality of experience, quality of life. I always think about Beyonce and Solange, because Beyonce said the same thing about Solange. Not that I'm Beyonce, but I don't know. But Beyonce said the same thing about Solange. She said, my sister taught me boundaries. My sister is the one who showed me that it was okay to say no. She did. Within our relationship. Because let me tell you, I'm a force. I'm not a person that gets told no. If I want something, I typically get it. I typically work for it. And I have throughout the years, as I've learned to accept things, as I've learned to understand how God works and how spirit moves, and how the fact that when I make plans, God laughs, that there's no other more important timing than divine timing. My sister has been an example, a staple of that. I admire and respect her for that. So as we're sitting on my couch watching Sister Act 1 and 2, laughing, feeling refueled, feeling regenerated, I'm on a spiritual, now I'm centered. See, the thing about a spiritual toolkit is it's supposed to right size you. It is supposed to take you from whatever delusions of grandeur you may be existing in, depending upon what goes on in your life, or whatever depression you may be existing on, depending upon what goes on in your life, and remind you of your baseline, of your truth. It could be a movie, it could be a song, it could be a place, it could be a person. There are some people who are just nurturers. There are some people who are just inspiration, like from top to bottom, all they do is inspire you. You could be around them for 30 minutes and your whole week be shifted. Who are those people? Do you know who they are? See, there's a way that we can be intentional about structuring things in our lives to make sure that when we are out in the world and we are living through oppression, especially as Black people, and we are living through oppression in a dictator type regime, I said it. When we are living in this world today in this way, we can be intentional about the kind of medicine we interact with. It don't got to be Popeyes, huh? It don't got to be white wine. I'm talking to me. It doesn't have to be sex. It doesn't have to be the club. It doesn't have to be hookah. It doesn't have to be a blunt. It doesn't have to be all those things as your grounder. It don't have to be. I'm not shaming those things, right? Especially if it's not a thing that you struggle with. If you can drink and stop, cool. If you can smoke a little whatever, that's a part of your ritual, fine. But can you also use things from within that you don't have to purchase? Can you also find things that you don't have to buy? Things that might not get you locked up, things that might not get you fired, things that don't really come with external consequences. Do you have those things? Like me sitting down watching Sister Act, what's the worst that could happen? I'm not going to get arrested for that. I'm not going to embarrass myself for that. I'm not going to lose money on it. I'm going to fortify a relationship, especially if I watch it with my sister. Man, we both left charged. How many times do you go into a situation and you leave feeling absolutely depleted because of the people you were with? It's not on purpose. Sometimes the saints just pull energy. Sometimes you just give energy. Like, it's just human. It's the human experience. What are we doing to balance that out? Right? And so I'm thinking I'm going to do a few segments and series on this spiritual toolkit because I think it's something that's free, something that you can just have in your back pocket. And it's a way that you can identify, shape, sculpt, structure your way of life to make sure you're living optimally, to make sure that you're living well, to make sure that and it's not about perfection, it's about process. Don't think I don't have a toxic boo on the side that I could call in moments of loneliness. I have several. Should I? No. Do I have other things that I can put in place to make sure I hold off that behavior? Absolutely. Absolutely. Ain't no judgment, ain't no shame. It is what it is, but let's be real about it. How easy can I get Uber Eats to come here? 30 minutes. Is my bank account gonna be mad? Yes. Is my belly gonna be mad? Yes. Is my coach gonna be mad? Yes. Am I gonna be mad? Yes. Is there another option? Some things that exist in my spiritual toolkit, and I'm not going to give them all because I got to stretch this thing out because it's big and I need you to know how full it is, and each thing deserves its moment. But another example is there is a rock at Sweetwater Park in Georgia that anytime I sit my behind on it, I get recharged. Parking is $5. Gas depends. But every time I go, I am made new. There's a church. It came up twice this week. Rise Community Church. Rise Community Church in person, and I have not been in a while. It'll tell you, I have not been in a while. But I don't think I realized how much of a gem that thing was, because it took Christianity and it held space for African spirituality, and it held space for hoodoo. It held space for the culture and religion of enslaved Africans in America. That's my people. Yes, I have African ancestry, right? Yes, I am a Black woman today in America. But there's an in-between that don't get taught in school, where my grandma, Ma, was making medicines and healing people, See, a seer, a spiritualist. There's a thing there that when I know whose I am and who I belong to, it fortifies me spiritually, and I walk throughout my day just a little bit different. Just a little bit different. My best friend told me, she was like, I haven't heard you listen to music in a long time. Now, respectfully, I listen to music in the car. I will not answer the phone if I'm in the car because that's my time. It's a part of my spiritual toolkit. Effect Fitness is a part of my spiritual toolkit. Going to the gym and working out, because I've worked out other places. I haven't had the results that I've ever had. I'm talking about even this time around, I have not had the same results, right? Because I have to be mindful. There's a way that I am of service in that space with cause and effect. And it's like, I'm learning how to be intentional about structuring boundaries around my time and the time I give. It's a learning curve. But boot camp, training, those are a part of my spiritual toolkit because that's just me. That's just me. That's my time. That's my time. And it has to be more valuable than anything else. Sitting down, eating black walnut ice cream with my daddy. Spiritual toolkit. I have my Aunt Lucy's shirt in my house. She's transitioned. Rest in peace, Aunt Lucy. I pick it up, I hold it, I smell it. Spiritual toolkit. Sitting outside, writing. Spiritual toolkit. Poetry. Spiritual toolkit. Going to Jeju. Spiritual toolkit. Doing Jeju in my own house, in my own tub. Spiritual toolkit. Going for a walk. My grandma Regina on my mama's side, a walker. My mama, a walker. That's what they do. Going on a walk. And I'm not, this is where people I don't want to wear the watch. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I don't want to wear the watch when I go on my walks because I'm not doing it for that. It's a spiritual thing for me. The way my mind clears, the way that I get in touch with God, and I'll be like, wow, look at that tree. Look at that bird. Wow. What did they do for their grass? All the things that existed before man got their little grubby hands involved. Nature, spiritual toolkit. Quiet practice, spiritual toolkit. Volunteering, spiritual toolkit. Affirming people for no reason, spiritual toolkit. It feeds me to affirm others, which is why I have the Black Oasis podcast. Because shouting other people out, connecting folks, seeing people get together, seeing God move in real time, doing what I'm supposed to do, feeds me spiritually. So therefore, when I come anywhere throughout the day and I've made sure I've done those things, I can be my best self, healthiest self, most positive self. I can actually help the world be better than it was before I found it. That's your only job. So what's in your spiritual toolkit? What do you have in your spiritual toolkit? I want to know. Give me some ideas, because let me tell you something. The more the merrier. The bigger the bag, the better the blessing. I said something. The bigger the bag, the better the blessing. The more tools you have in your toolkit, the more things you can build, huh? The more things you can renovate and restructure, huh? Oh, imagine hiring a construction company to come renovate your house and all they got is a saw and a hammer and maybe a little, whatever, a drill gun. Maybe that's all they have. What can they do for you? Baby, I need a new bathroom. You ain't got no towel, you ain't got no caulk, how can you make sure it's level? How many tools do you have in your toolkit? How many do you have? Because it's a lot going on. Stuff is popping off and stuff is going to pop off even more. And you might find yourself in stress. I don't think we're really understanding the way our reality is changing politically and therefore culturally. But what doesn't have to shift is our spirituality. It has always been our saving grace. It has always been the thing that has kept Black people sound, sane, and whole. It's their connection and their remembrance and their reverence of the things that came before them and the thing that created and birthed them. As long as you have that, nothing else can take anything from you. Truly, at a certain point, your bags won't matter, your shoes won't matter, this hair won't matter, the face it won't matter. It won't matter. Remembering who you are, whose you are, and how to ground yourself, sustain yourself, and refortify yourself when you feel like quitting. That's what matters. Make sure you have some tools in your spiritual toolkit. Anyway, thank you for joining me for Kaya's Corner. I hope it blessed you, because you know what? I even had some revelations while I'm talking. I'm like, girl, got some things to do and add, because the work doesn't stop. The work doesn't stop. So thank you for joining me on this journey. Please tune in next Sunday. Get what you didn't know you needed. Like, subscribe, share, spread the word. Tell the saints. It's free. Give them something. Huh? Giving him something he can feel. Yeah. All right. Bye. I'm done.